ringside seat. Who is here for the first time? Well, not as many as I thought. But anyway, you've missed a hell of a lot. But we'll start again in the autumn. And next week is our last guest, Kirsty Young. And what we do here is to bring extraordinary people who've led extraordinary lives. And the idea is for you, the public, for just £6 or 10 quid, to interact. So later, you'll be able to ask lots of questions. I'm only going to have a conversation with Mario for about 20 minutes. And the only proviso is that you ask an intelligent question or an awkward one. The awkward one will always score. But Mario can tell you to shut up, and we'll pass you on and make you look like an idiot.
How welcoming you are, huh?
Harry Humphrey always tells me you victimize two people in the audience and everybody will laugh at them. So be careful.
Be ready.
Mario, were you ever paparazzo chasing after celebrities?
No, because when I started working, we didn't really have that sort of culture of following. I mean, it's very interesting because I once bought the work from a photographer, Gary Lebeau, as is his name, and he used to do the paparazzo thing back in the day when it wasn't about being a paparazzi, it was about stalking celebrities, and they would go to their homes at night and wait till they come out. And I have a collection of photographs of him at home that is all the Marlene Dietrich, the Jackie Kennedy, that sort of paparazzi that I admired. But when I started being a photographer, we didn't really have celebrities. I don't know, I looked at Vogue. I would buy Vogue magazine. I know that there are some students here today from the Condé Nast School. A lot, thank you for the support, Zoe. But I remember buying magazines when the girls that I was obsessed with would be appeared in the cover. Mary Helvin, a girl called Kirsty that then went to follow and marry another photographer, Toscani. But I never really had that thing about being desperate about, I don't know, we didn't have that culture. I think it's very much today that.
But now paparazzi will follow you. I mean, how do you react to them?
Well, they don't really follow me because they can't really sell the picture like a Kate Moss picture. So, you know.
Well, they follow you and they get Kate Moss.
And anyhow, I always say to the celebrities, why don't you just stop, give them the picture, and then they leave you alone? Because that's what I do. I stop, I make sure that, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? And then they leave you alone.
But do you think the culture is a good one or a bad one?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's about looking up too much at people because then it makes everybody feel little. And I think that the whole point is to elevate yourself, your belief in yourself is the most important thing. So if you are too busy following everybody else, when do you ever think of you? I haven't got the time because I have to think of myself a lot.
Well, you've photographed most famous faces in the world. What do you feel in future when there are robots and artificial intelligence, where they might be made to look any way they want to make them look? I mean, would you be fascinated without that human natural instinct and interaction and spontaneity for which you're so famous? Do you think you might be interested in photographing robots? And
I don't know. I mean, the robots seem to be taking shapes that are very human, so maybe I might be fooled by that. But I am quite obsessed by people, skin, meat. I don't know, you know, like human beings. That's what really.
If you look around here,
so many good-looking people.
If I were to force you to photograph one person, who would that be?
God, the choice is difficult.
Yeah, you're all bloody ugly. Choose one.
You know, I'm going to tell you, this is very interesting because I learned my profession on some beauty, what do you call it, values or norms. You know, we all aim for this beauty. But I'm finding out today that beauty is such a funny thing because you can look at anybody and find them beautiful, you know. Even the mirror, I look sometimes and think, not bad. You know, but really, I think that it's all to do with who is looking and what you're looking at. Because I've just done a job where it was all real people, normal shapes, and I found everybody amazing. I was obsessed with them.
But I'd be so interested, just choose a face.
Should I choose your son to see how we
No,
embarrass
he's
him?
his
No.
family, he's disqualified. Who would you choose? And would it be a female face?
No,
or
look,
a
I
male
would
face?
know exactly who I would choose. I see a lady here with blonde, curly hair and glasses.
Can you stand up?
You look great.
Yeah, go and stand up. You got a contract.
You look a bit like me when I was a bit younger. Only my hair was bigger.
The extraordinary thing is that your huge success came really with the rejuvenation of Gucci, with Tom Ford and whatever. And I mean, Anna Wintour has said that this fashion photography is a very difficult thing because is the merging of art and commerce. Would you agree with that?
Totally. I think that at the end of the day, a fashion photographer's job is to entice people to go and get out of their houses and buy clothes. That's what we do, we sell clothes. I mean, we show clothes, and by showing clothes, we create desire, and the people should go and buy the clothes. I used to look at magazines when I was young. I looked a lot at GQ magazine, and now I understand that I always liked the little photos, and my tailor in Peru would say to me, but how do you know that the back of this jacket is like that? And I said, I know, because for it to fall like this in the front, it has to be like this in the back. But imagine, I mean, now I realize that the little photographs are the photos that are not advertisers and that probably are not the most commercial outfit, but the weirdest outfit. And of course, I wanted to wear the weirdest outfit. But I was really consumed by desire. I wanted to have that outfit. And I think that that's what fashion photographers do. So if you don't accept that our job is associated to commerce, then you are doing the wrong job.
So effectively, you used art to entice and attract what you don't actually reveal. Perhaps not the whole jacket, but just the desire of
Well,
wearing
I
the
think
jacket.
art in general is there to make you see things differently, or to look at things that you're not looking, or to push the boundaries in our perception or the way we see life. That's what artists do. They make me, I mean, I collect fine art, and I'm constantly having to look at things differently because they are showing me that it's not how I thought. Maybe it's like this, maybe it's like this. And I think fashion is another way of doing that, We show people how they could dress. Dressing is the most basic way of expression in anybody of us. Everybody gets up in the morning and decides, I'm wearing this and I'm wearing this. And that's our way of expressing ourselves, our feeling, how we think, how we feel, what we want to communicate. Do we want to seduce? Do we want to make people laugh? Do we want to entertain? All that is done by how we dress. So fashion photography is about showing people other ways of communicating through their dress. And often I am surprised that there are still new ways of interpreting clothes or looks or communicating them.
Would you feel a bit stuck if you were on a nudist beach?
Well, I have found the nudist beach quite difficult because you're obliged to look at things that you might not want to look. But then again, I am the first one to say, ooh, let's stop. I am obsessed with nudity. Bodies, I don't know if it's because I'm Latin America, I don't know if because I grew up in Peru and we weren't supposed to be too naked or change with other people, but I don't know, I was curious about everybody's body. I wanted to see everybody naked, and it's really funny that I haven't been able to get rid of that. And Kate Winslet once gave me a prize, and in her introductory speech, she said to me that I arrive at the studio, I look at her, and they are waiting to hear what I'm going to say about the look, because of course I always have something that I don't like, the hair, the makeup, the clothes, the shoes, the length. And she said, yeah, she looks good, but wouldn't it be better naked? And she's like, Mario, we're selling clothes.
She does look naked. She does look very well naked.
Very well, yeah.
It's that voluptuous look. I mean, I never thought that she would actually match DiCaprio, but she did well. Now, the other obsession you have is you work very hard. You have said, I quote, I work 14 hours a day, every day, and most Saturdays and Sunday. I mean, do you still work as hard as that?
You know, anything that I do, I want to excel at doing it. Look at this room, it's full of people. So what am I going to do? Sit here and sulk and be like difficult and, you know, no, I want to impress. I want to, you know, and that's what I do with my life. I want to do whatever I do the best I can. And that comes with hard work. There's no secret, you know. And I remember there's an editor, Grace Conington, that you all probably know because she's English and very famous at the moment. And she would always, I would go out to a show and like a show, and she would say, oh my God, they didn't work enough. And, you know, I didn't really realize it then, and I realize it now. Work shows. If you put 10 hours, it shows, and if you put 14, it shows. And if you put 3, it shows too.
Well, I know you're telling the truth, and I've just done some arithmetic for you. Now, assuming that you only became famous when Gucci came along in 1997 and so forth, that's 20 years. As Linda Evangelista wouldn't get out of bed for 10 grand a day, you must be worth at least that, which means every year you've earned 3.65 million, and in 20 years you're now worth 73 million. Have you got 73 million in your bank?
I do.
Well, there it is. It's an underestimation.
Well, no, you know, it's very interesting. I mean, I don't know if you all people know how this business works, but basically, we do editorial, which is the magazines, in order to be noticed. Magazines don't pay anything whatsoever. And in a lot of the cases, the photographer is expected to pay if you want something. You know, I was trained by the late Franca Sozzani, who passed away this year when she was at Peru and Lay, before she went to Vogue. These were the Young Condenas magazines. And she taught me one thing. She would say to me, I have 20 pages, I have $4,000 budget. And that is your fee included, and you can do with that money anything you want. You can fly the girl from New York if you want a girl, you can book a location, you can, you know, it's up to you how you use the money. And $4,000 doesn't get very far, so I had to beg everybody, lend me your house, please lend me your, oh, can your daughter model for free, you know. And the interesting thing is that, yeah, we work a lot, but not every single day is paid. But the funny thing is that those unpaid jobs often are the most exciting jobs because we're free. And freedom is it's worth a lot more than the, how many million was that?
73.
73 million. Well, I don't think I would ever have that money because I'm the biggest spender there is. So, you know.
What are you most extravagant on?
I love inviting. I think that...
Do you want to invite all these people for dinner tonight?
Of course, you're paying tonight. That's great.
Stop.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that sharing is a very important thing. I came to live here back in the 70s with 3 friends of mine. And I have to say, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here because my parents sent me money for a while. Then they stopped sending me money. They started sending money to a friend of mine. And because I kept him going for the time I received the money, he said to me, I will pay for all the development of your photography. At the time we had to do film and develop it, and it was expensive. And if it wasn't for him that did that for 4 months, I probably wouldn't be here. In London, yeah.
Yeah, because when you first came to London, you found it very liberating. I mean, you were able to dress the way you want without being ostracized, as you were in Lima. And you just found the city an incredibly exciting place.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I have to say that I was very lucky. My parents sacrificed a lot of things to get me here to study. And the moment came when they couldn't afford to keep me here anymore, and I stayed. And if we talk about sharing, my friend Lucinda Chambers was the editor of British Vogue, and they had luncheon vouchers at the time for lunch. And of course, I showed every single day at 1 o'clock. Hi, what are you doing? Going to eat with your luncheon vouchers. Great.
40p, I remember.
Well, there were not a lot, but that egg sandwich went through a long time of the day. Half of it.
You, however, when you were young, wanted, like me at the time, to be a priest.
But the terrible thing about, well, no. Carry on.
What is a terrible thing? We want to hear terrible things.
The reasons why I wanted to be priest weren't, no, it's not true. I do like the work that I did with the priest at school, and I find that I have found a way of doing it, which is helping. I love helping people in need, and I try to do as much as that is. But there were other things. I like running as an acolyte and see the dress moving. I don't know why. I just like the idea of the movement. one of the things. And then they had cars, many cars, the priests. And I always thought, wow, how exciting to have lots of cars to choose from to go driving. So my reasons weren't all pure and saintly, but...
Going back to your photography, it looks as if, it looks to me, that what marks your success is your absolute instinct to detect that instantaneous spontaneity. I mean, I've seen you at work a little bit, and I've seen obviously all your works and so forth, but you always catch that moment. Would you say that that was your forte? Is not to conceive of the poser initially, necessarily, but to act at the moment of the shoot?
Well, even when it's not a real moment, I for sure make it be a moment, because I believe that you can perfect something, but perfection feels boring. So if you just break it, because what is the most beautiful moment? I mean, Kate Moss has been my inspiration for many years, and sometimes I go out with her at night, and there's that moment. She lifts up from the chair to go to the bathroom or whatever, and she looks unbelievable. That dress is sort of falling. Everything feels like elevated. And that moment only exists in that moment. The moment she's sitting, maybe it's not that magical anymore. And I do try and make all my photographs be as if I happen to walk through a room and just, oh, I captured it. But of course, to get that is like
I'm sorry she's not here. She says she doesn't want to come to steal your thunder, but she'll be at dinner afterwards. I mean, that is something that you're so good at. And now, you now feel, having gone from Lima and then having had a successful career in London and all the international city, you want to go back to your roots, Boomerang. And you've started, as I was there, opening of your Mate Gallery in Lima. Tell us something about that, because that's not just an art gallery, but a foundation of yours that you want to perpetuate.
Well, I feel that, like you're doing here, you're giving back to your community. I have a very big longing to go back home. I don't know why. It's really funny, even when I have to talk about Peru, I get like, you know, that knot in your throat when you don't know where you're going to burst out crying. But anyhow, there is something, that I feel I have to give my country, because a lot of what I am, comes from there, my taste, my exposure, and I feel that I was lucky that my parents could send me here to study. Not everybody can, so I'm trying to take to Peru things that help people open their minds, because you know, I am in a business that is very open and accepts many things, but in Peru when I was there, I couldn't take public transport because I like to wear platform shoes and flower trousers and afro hair and t-shirts mid-drift. So, I mean, when I think of it, I must have looked pretty weird. But, you know, people can control it. They can help it. You are like that and you cannot help it. So I want to be able to help the way Peru or my community think, so that they can be more open, more accepting, more tolerant, which is what I found in this country, which made me stay here. And I thought that a museum culture would be the good way, because, like I was saying earlier, art helps you see things in different ways, it presents you things in different ways, and it makes it easier for people to accept through aesthetics and through beauty or through ideas.
Well, your country is a bit of a freak country. I mean, you had a Japanese prime minister, for God's sake, for about 10 years, and he turned out to be a complete corrupt...
well, I don't know really. I wouldn't accuse him completely, because he did help the country. Before he came to power, the country was ridden with terrorism, and he managed to control that. I mean, sadly, all countries, I mean, we're seeing at the moment that there is no exception. We used to think that the first world was different, but actually the world is full of people. It's sad that people can just steal a little bit and then give the majority to a country. There seems to be no end to the stealing nowadays. No? So, and he did fall for that, sadly, but he was good at one moment, you know. He changed Peru at the beginning.
Always takes an Eastern Oriental to do that. Is it true, or what did you think when Anna Wintour asked you to go and do her passport photograph with a child?
Oh, well, I started with Anna back in the day. She was one of the first that believed in me. Believe it or not, she was a fashion editor originally. And the first job she gave me was a very ambitious job because I didn't even have an assistant at the time, and she wanted me to do pictures of different dances, tango, waltz, salsa, all different dances. And so she said to me, I want every picture in a different location. And so for tango, I thought that you could go to this hall. So I went to look at the location. The location was bigger than this and higher than this, and I never even had a light in my hands. And I thought, what am I going to do? But she did believe in me at first, and she brought me into Vogue when she was creative director. She wasn't the editor-in-chief. The editor-in-chief hated me, obviously, because she felt that she was the next editor-in-chief coming in. And at that time, she had her first child, and I used to go to her house. She would feed me. As you can see, eating has always been a thing with me. And she would feed me, and so I would go to her house, and when she had her baby, she said, oh, you know, I need to do a passport. Do you think that you could take a picture? So I did. And he just married. Well, no, he's just had his first child. It's amazing how quick life goes. I think he's 28 or 30.
Is that the only passport photograph you've done?
Yes, apart from my own.
Oh, no, you did your own?
Yes, and they did send me back telling me that it was too glamorous or something like that, and that I had to do a machine one. And I was like, why? I looked perfectly retouched. No, I love it that not long ago, an embassy told me that I had to do, they saw me, the American embassy. I went, took my pictures, of course it was beautiful. And they asked me to bring another picture because the guy couldn't recognize me. And I was like, what do you mean?
Well, Americans are blind, but there it is. Will you please all join me in thanking Maria Testino?
Thank you.